Now the next topic is priorities. Threads can have priorities. So Java supports multiple priorities. So first of all, let us understand what does it mean by priority. So here I have a diagram for explanation purpose. Suppose a program is having more than one threads and one of the thread is main thread and the rest of the child threads are there. So total 5 threads are there. For example, a Java program is having 5 threads. So they are in a queue. So usually we call this as ready queue. They are ready to run, right? So this is ready queue. Who maintains this ready queue? JVM will maintain this ready queue. Or there is a component in JVM that is scheduler. It will maintain the queue and it will make all the threads stand in the queue. Threads has to be executed by CPU and there is only one CPU we have. So at a time CPU can execute only one program. So this scheduler will schedule these threads for execution. So let us take a scenario. Suppose 1 second of time is given for this thread 1. So thread 1 will be executed by the CPU for 1 second of time. The next second is given to thread 2, the next second for 3, then 4, then 5, then again back to thread 1. So assume that every thread gets 1 second of time for execution on the CPU. So who changed the threads and who changed them for execution on CPU? Scheduler part of JVM. So we can say that this is time sharing. All the threads are sharing CPU time and they are getting an equal amount of time slice for execution 1 second. Now comes priorities. If any thread is having higher priority, let us say this thread is having higher priority 10 and this is having 7, this is 5 and this is 8 and this is 2. So the threads are having different priorities. Java supports priorities from 1 to 10. So I have given some priorities. So who is having highest priority? The first thread is having higher priority. Now do you think the thread should have the same round robin fashion of time sharing, like everybody is getting 1 second? No, a thread which is having higher priority should get more time. So its time slice should be more. Or better, it should be executed first. Then the next thread should be executed. That is, this thread is having next higher priority. So the threads can be executed with higher time slice, or they may be executed, completed first, then the next thread, then the next thread. So it may happen. So it depends on the scheduler. How it behaves, we can't say. Either it may be finishing higher priority thread first, then next thread, then next thread, or giving more time to higher priority threads. So the idea here is that if a thread is having higher priority, then it should get some preference over other threads. So yes, so that's what the priorities are. So in Java, we can have different level of priorities, like minimum priority is 1 and the maximum priority is 10. It doesn't start from 0, it starts from 1 onwards, 1 to 10. And the normal priority, average priority is 5. So by default, if you create a thread, it will have priority 5. And if you want to increase or decrease the priority, you can increase or decrease the priority. You can set any number that you want. Now next is example of different level of priorities. So if you take the example, like in MS Word, many people use MS Word. Now you are typing some contents. So typing some contents and simultaneously it is checking the spellings. So a thread is there, one thread is there that is taking input from the keyboard and printing on the screen. This is one thread. And the another thread is checking for the spelling. Now spell checker works simultaneously. As you go on typing, it will be go on underlining incorrect word or misspelled word. So they are having high similar priority. Now time to time there will be something that will be saving this document. If you have not saved it, so it will auto save the document. So that will also be running. So let us say that is also a thread. You tell me who should have higher priority. The thread which is dealing with the input and the spell checker should have higher priority, and the thread that is for auto save is having low priority. So you can set it as low priority. First give the preference to take the input from the user, and saving, auto saving, you can do it anytime. So you don't ever see in MS Word that you are typing something and nothing is appearing on the screen because it is busy in auto saving. It never happens. So first priority is given to the input from the keyboard or spell checking. If you take one more example like Chrome or Internet Explorer, so where you visit the websites. Now pulling the data from internet from the website is one thread and rendering it on the screen is another thread. So who should have a higher priority? There should be a different priority here. They should not have equal priority. Now higher priority job is which one? Getting the data. Let the data come first in your machine. Then we can display it at any time. So sometimes we see that it shows that animation loading. So it is pulling the data from internet, getting the data from the website. So whatever it has got, it can show it. But the higher priority is for pulling the data. So this thread is little bit waiting. So the rendering part will be done slowly. So once it has received the data, then it will do it sometimes. Or little bit of rendering is done and the still data is being pulled. So there are more than one thread. So who is having higher priority? That thread will get more CPU time. So these are the examples of priorities. And if you are developing an application, then you have to judge and you have to decide who should have more and or who should have less priority. Now the last point in this one is the multi-threading feature is provided by the operating systems. But here Java has its own multi-threading environment. It may take the help of operating system also, but even if the operating system doesn't have that environment, Java JVM will take care of it. So basically who has its own scheduler? JVM or JRE is having its own scheduler, right? It will schedule the threads. So it may take the help of operating system, but it is not scheduled by operating system. They are scheduled by Java runtime environment or Java virtual machine. So that's all about the priorities. Now the next thing we will be learning about the methods of a thread class.